Hey there. Happy Freedom Friday. Welcome back to another daily episode of your daily dose of vitamin D3. We are talking about freedom today on this Freedom Friday. Obviously, that's how I opened up the conversation, right? And this is our daily or weekly thing every Friday. And today I want to talk about how you can break free from the day-to-day mundane routines that's keeping you feeling boring or like or keeping you feeling bored, right? As if you are a boring person and you're actually not. The reality is, if you've been following me for a minute, that I talk a lot about routines here. And there's absolutely nothing wrong with having a routine. In fact, I very much advocate heavily for having structure in your day and a real routine so that you can get more done with the time that you have. So we're not deviating from that, but sometimes routines can feel stale. And in order to bring a sort of freshness again, from that staleness, we've got to figure out ways that we can still be like standardized in our business, right? And do things that are routine and to make sure that we have structure in our day, but still bring about a sense of freedom and joy, right? Because no one wants to work in a business or anything you do in life really where it's just the same old routine day in and day out and you just feel like is this really all there is? And is this what freedom means? I mean, can I shake things up a bit? Well, that's exactly what we're going to be talking about. I'm going to help you today shake things up a bit, right? So if you're feeling stuck right now, if you're feeling stagnant, if you're just feeling over whatever you got going on and however you're doing things right now, let's give you some examples today and some strategies and some realizations and some ideas as to how you can actually change things up a bit. And I'm not going to be too long here. I'm going to try to keep this right at about 15 to 20 minutes and kind of get you in and out of here because I actually have a meeting in about, 30 minutes. Make sure my notifications are off. Okay, cool. So let's give you some different frameworks around this and how to think about it, right? So that we can shake things up for you and move away from what feels stale right now to what can feel fresh or bring newness into your day. So I'll just give you some examples to be brief and then you can do with it what you choose. But for example, and it can be simple little things that just change the game for you, right? So say, for example, you go the same way to work every single day. Now, that might be the most effective way and the fastest route to get to work, right? If you're working a 9 to 5. And I'm going to try and think of everybody, every type of person that I may encounter on a day-to-day basis who this may apply to, okay? So somebody who's in the workforce, somebody who might be a freelancer or independent contractor, someone who is actually a business owner, maybe someone who's a parallelpreneur or what have you. I'm going to try and touch on each of those as examples just to give you some ideas to ponder over, okay? So to start with, again, going back to you being someone who works in the workforce, right? So you have a 9 to 5 job, let's just say, and every single day you go to work the same day. Now, I understand that you might need to take that route to get to work because it's the fastest route to go and you can't be late. But maybe on the way back, take the scenic route. You know what I mean? Maybe on the way back, you don't have to speed home, right? Or you don't have to speed to whatever the thing is that you're going to next, whatever the destination is that you're trying to travel to next. Maybe you can just take the scenic road, really soak it in, or the scenic route and soak it up, right? The environment, the scenery, just take a different route altogether. That's one way to shake things up outside of your routine, especially if you're not in a hurry to get to your next destination. Okay. Also, if you are, say, an entrepreneur and you're working on your business and, you have some freedom and flexibility and some autonomy, obviously, right? That's why you're the boss. But you work from home and that's great. But maybe at home is not always the most conducive environment for you to work in. Or maybe it is, but you're just getting a little bit bored with it of the routine. And so you want to change it up a bit. So perhaps you can, instead of working from your home, you can go to a co-working space. Now, if you're not a member of a co-working space, it might cost you some money, but it's usually not that expensive if you're just going to visit for like a day here and there, right? You can just get the daily rate, which is quite affordable. And just go, like see what's available to you in your neighborhood, local to you. And I personally have been to some amazing, beautiful, very upscale co-working spaces, and I have met some of the nicest people who were of like minds. And we hit it off. We had conversations and we exchanged numbers and, contact information, had conversations. And, you can go there and it's a whole vibe. Okay. You can go have your breakfast there. I have been to some really nice places. For example, near me, when on both East Coast and West Coast, I belong to the Gathering Spot. So I've been there a time and time again. I love the vibe there, as an example. But there's Rome and there's WeWork and I can't remember some of the others. And there's another place that is close to me. I think it's just local. I don't believe they're like across the nation like some of these places are. I shouldn't say across the nation, but I don't think they have multiple locations across the, states. But you, I'm sure, can find something that's in your area. And sometimes I just feel like being around other people. Like for the most part, I don't mind working isolated because I like to run solo, for most part of my day until I have to actually, work with clients. When I'm doing client facing work, obviously I'm talking to clients and doing all of that work. If I'm in a mastermind or if I'm going to, a group program or that I'm a part of, right? So in those instances, for sure, I don't mind, networking events and other social functions and those sort of things. That's great. And maybe that's something that you can do that would be new for you as well if you're not doing that right now, right? But for me, I usually do work solo. And then I decide on certain days that, you know what, I want to switch it up. And I want to go to a co-working space, or I want to go to... Now, I'm not the type of person that can work in a Starbucks, but maybe you can. Thank you for the love. Maybe you can work at a Starbucks. Now, for me, that doesn't work for me. Why? Because I'm very sensitive to noise, and I have to be in a space, especially if I'm working on something that's very, that requires my deep thinking, or if, say, for example, I'm, writing my book, or I'm working on a project that requires me to really do some deep work. I can't be in an environment where there's a lot of clinging and clanging and loud noises and talking and chattering and laughing. Now, that is a vibe to go to a cafe or a Starbucks or whatever barista that's close to you that you like. But for me, it has to be more of a quiet, kind of serene feeling space for the most part. Now, if I'm just chilling, like on a Friday, this is my Freedom Friday. So after I've done my financials and my kind of routine stuff in the morning, then I could see going and to hang out at a Starbucks, right? But that's something that you can actually do as well, right? So if that's something, now some people are not bothered by the noise. They don't mind hearing the grind of the coffees and the lattes that they're mixing up, right? And the frappuccinos and all of the jazz, right? For me, though, again, that's just mad annoying. I'm just like, shut up. I can't hear myself think. So that's true for you too, Patrick. Yeah, Patrick says it's true. Same for me. I just like peace and quiet. Yeah, so so maybe that doesn't work for you, but maybe a library would. It's still outside of the house, or maybe you can just grab your computer. You know what I've done? I've taken my laptop to the beach, and I love me a good body of water. I don't mind being by a lake, which I live by a lake. I take you guys to the lake with me all the time. Or the beach. The beach is my jam. Okay. If I'm actually working on getting a beach home, like I love it so much. And so when I can, like on a Friday or on the weekend, that's a great time to go just take your laptop, get a chair, grab a couple, drinks, pack a little lunch or snacks or whatever. I like to go before it gets too hot and before it gets too crowded. And I have a little corner, a space in the corner somewhere off by an area where there are people. I could see people, but I just like to listen to the waves of the water, right? The crashing sounds of the waves, and the just all the noises that are made that you can hear when you just listen to the ocean. And it's just so beautiful, and it's so serene and tranquil. So, and I love to, just kick my shoes off and have my feet buried under the sand. Like, it's just the whole thing, right? So I've always been a beach baby. Maybe because I'm a summer baby and I grew up in an area where we were only like 5 minutes away from the beach. So that's something, though, that you can do. Kind of going on a tangent here, but you know what I'm saying? Like, I'm just feeling it. I'm there. So I'm like, that's a good idea. I think I might do that. So, but that's another place that you can go. Some people I've seen work in restaurants. So I'm just giving you some ideas that, you can go switch it up, especially if you have this kind of freedom and flexibility and you don't want to work in the house. This is a great way for you to just go somewhere outside of your home environment and do something new. Okay. Now, say, for example, you're like a freelancer. Maybe you're a freelance writer. Maybe you do some blogging. Maybe you are working on a book, but, writing is like your main thing. And you get writer's block or something because you're trying to do the writing at maybe, the evening hours where your energy is low. So maybe a small boost for you would be something as simple as just changing the time frame, the time of day that you write. Maybe it's not writer's block at all. Maybe it's just the fact that you're trying to do it when you're drained, when your energy is depleted, and you don't have anywhere to pull the energy from. And if that's the case, go ahead and get you a good night's rest. You know what I mean? Start again in the morning, maybe first thing, fresh start in the morning. And maybe you'll have a fresh perspective, right? You've got the rest you needed. And maybe it's the morning hours that work well for you. Maybe it's the midday hours, maybe at a park in the sunshine. Maybe you need to go to, I don't know, rent a cabin in the mountain, right? Where it's snowing or something, and you're just kind of locked in, but you're in a new environment where it just feels inspiring. You'd be surprised just getting out of your house how inspired you can be and how motivated you'll become to take inspired action. So that's one of the things I would suggest, right? Because sometimes it does, I'm a writer myself. Like, that's what I love to do. I was born to write. And so I don't get too often, I don't get writer's block, but I definitely do need new inspiration sometimes, right? Because I kind of get like, I just don't like being in the same spot writing. So maybe, for a week or two, I wrote and I was in my home, and that's great because I have the peace and quiet that I need. But maybe I want to switch it up a bit, and maybe I'll go to a new part of the house that I don't usually write in. Or maybe I'll leave my home altogether and I'll go to, like I said, the beach or the park, or go lock myself up in a cabin somewhere in the mountains, right? Because here in SoCal, you got the best of all worlds. You could do all the things. So like I said, switch it up like that, right? Go sit in your car. You can get all the hookups you need, the cables and stuff to plug into your car to keep your charge going. And just, whatever time of the day is good for you, go right then. Look around at your surroundings, reflect on life, think about, whatever are the things that you need to reflect on as you're writing, and you'll be surprised how those words will just come natural for you. And from your mind and your heart, or your head and your heart, onto paper. Okay, so that's something else. Say, for example, you're a teacher. Okay, teachers teach, but it's a stressful job with low pay, right? Let's just be real. And shout out to the teachers out there. Look, hats off to you. I commend you for what you do. If you're working with children, if you're working with high schoolers, if you're working with college students, doesn't matter. It's a stressful job and you don't get paid that well, right? So if you're an adjunct professor or teacher, educator of any sort, I feel you. Okay. I'm an educator at my best as well. I believe we all are, but I'm an RN health and wellness educator. So I actually get paid quite nicely, maybe because it's, the healthcare space and the years of experience and my background in combination. But I know a lot of teachers who don't get paid anywhere near what I get paid. And so sometimes you might feel like, oh my gosh, I just don't even know. Oh, I don't even have the energy or the capacity or the bandwidth I need to go deal with teaching today. And you need to relieve some stress so that you have the capacity and the bandwidth to go teach, right? And you want to always pour from your overflow, not from an empty cup. And so I always say, fill yourself up first. So one of the things you might be able to do to make it new for you and to feel free would be for you to go get up 30 to 45 minutes early, maybe an hour earlier, and go to the gym and do something really fun. Like maybe not, you don't want to go exercise per se, in the sense that you got to do the traditional stuff, right? Maybe you don't want to go ride a bike, or maybe you don't want to go do Pilates, or maybe you don't want to go, lift weights and that sort of thing. But can you go to the hot sauna, right? Can you go to a steam room? Can you go do the infrared sauna? Can you go take a Zumba class or something like that? Can you go play pickleball or tennis, right? Something that's just out of the ordinary, that brings you a lot of energy and it's fun and it doesn't even feel like you're exercising. That is a great way for you as a teacher, as an educator, to relieve some stress, right? Or maybe it's just going for a run in the morning, getting up a little bit early to go for a run and do something fun. So I'm just giving you, again, some ideas. And again, I'm trying to touch on a little bit of everybody, like different people that I encounter all the time, different types of women I meet with. And this can be true, by the way, for if you're a doctor, a therapist, a nurse at the bedside, or a nurse of any type. Especially at the bedside, that's very stressful. It's a fast burnout. Trust me, I know. I've done it for years ago. And, or if you're, I don't know if I said an attorney, a lawyer, but anything along the lines of that, that's very stressful, release the stress in these different ways, right? So that you can have the energy to be able to serve your clients in a way that you don't feel, like you don't want to show up for your clients feeling drained, right? Or showing that, almost seemingly demonstrating that you don't even have the ability or the capacity to handle their situation, or to teach them, or to train them, or to coach them, or to doctor them, or to nurse them, right? Or any of that. Like, you want to be vibrant with energy. So get some energy for yourself, and then you can transfer that energy to the people that you're called to serve, okay? Also, you want to identify restrictive patterns. So, and I'm going to we're going to try to go for another 5 or so minutes, and then I got to head out to get to my meeting here. It's actually by Zoom, but I want to be in a space where, well, I guess it's kind of quiet here, but it's like a dog constantly barking. So anyways, but say, for example, you're an entrepreneur and you always, I don't know. You know what? I'll use a real example. I gave you some kind of hypothetical situations, but let's go with something real, okay? So I have a friend, a colleague. Actually, we started the same year in business, and actually she's super exceeded my business so far. I'm on her heels though, okay? But she is now a seven figure, went from multi six figure to a 7-figure business and brand. She's now taken her business globally, and she's on the rise. She's making moves. She's doing big things. When she first started and she was manifesting this for herself and doing the work, she lived in a big metropolitan area, right? So it was always the hustle and bustle in the city. And she was working a 9-to-5 still, and she was driving into work, and it would take her an hour and a half one way each and every day. So an hour and a half to work and an hour and a half from work. How many can relate to that? I've definitely been there with that kind of commute. And that's just getting to and from work. That's not to say if you have meetings to travel to in between time, how much traveling you're doing and how much time you're spending in your car, right? So she finally got sick of this congestion, right? She was sick and tired of just always having to be in traffic all the time. So she decided, you know what? I'm going to drive just a couple days a week, but I'm going to try out for 3 days to take public transportation and see how that actually feels. Thank you so much for, yes, hit that like and subscribe button. Thank you, Tariko. Appreciate it. So for those of you who have not yet subscribed, if you are feeling what I'm giving, if you love these gems I'm dropping, go ahead and leave a discussion right now so we can get this conversation popping, okay? Because I'd love to chat with you in the comments for sure. And thank you, Tariko, for that reminder. Y'all, if you are not subscribed to my channel and you want more of this content, definitely subscribe and hit the notification bell. I go live Monday through Friday, and at least till the end of this month. So you only got me for a little while longer. We're doing a 90-day sprint. And then you can also check me out with the other content. I drop 3 videos a week on Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, okay? So you can always find me here, and I'm sure I have something for a little bit of everybody. And when I say that, I mean of the people I serve. I have a specific ideal client avatar, okay, that I serve. But a lot of what I talk about is applicable to you here, okay? So if you're interested in learning how to make multiple income streams and generate, revenue, and how to keep your profits in your pocket and in your pocketbook and in the bank account, and grow bigger and evolve as a person, as a woman, as a somebody who's in business, for sure. If you want to transition from a toxic job, a hostile work environment, or just a career that no longer serves you, or if you're looking for a holistic approach, which is what I teach as a holistic business coach and RN health and wellness educator, and you want to learn how to, establish or grow a business in the online space that is in alignment with, that is an aligned and profitable online brand and business, but you want to also prioritize your health, healing, and happiness, then that's what you're going to get here. So thank you for that reminder, Tariko, because I definitely want to make sure that people are coming back for more, getting the value that they need, especially if you find this helpful. So getting back to what we were talking about, so she decided she was going to take public transportation, and that was such a great idea. She liked it so much, she decided to go from 3 days a week to 5 days a week. And that literally changed the game for her, because she was able to take her laptop and just relax and let the driver drive, right? And she would get inspired and do her thing, and she had more time to be productive and work on her business. For that same commute that she would normally be driving herself, it didn't get her there any faster, but it allowed her to relax and create more space in her day so that she can focus on her business on her way to the job and from the job. So that hour and a half that she was spending in traffic, right? Obviously, she couldn't work on her business then, but she did give herself 3 hours back in her day by taking public transportation. So that's a switch. That's a big switch. It may not work for you, but it worked for her, and she was able to grow her business a lot faster. So that's a real life example, okay? But like, say for example, you're just feeling sluggish in your day and you just need a spark, a new boost, of fire under your buns, right? You need, again, inspiration. Just get up and get out and move your body and go somewhere new. Go drive somewhere. Go grab your favorite beverage. Go get a smoothie. Go do something to fuel your body and to nourish your soul and your mind, okay? For me, again, that's a body of water. I may treat myself to a latte on a Friday, or, if it's a Wellness Wednesday, I'll go grab a smoothie or my favorite detox drink or something like that. But do whatever works for you, okay? Go read a book. Go indulge in something that's going to give you something back in return. All right? So another thing is adding the benefits of flexibility. So for me, I can tell you what this looks like, okay? Because it looks different for everyone. For me, what I decided to do last year, my team and I, so I decided I was just tired of being in a place where, as I was expanding my brand and as I was obviously growing my business, I was hiring more people on my team. And that was great. And that's what we needed, especially if we're talking about, getting to a 7-figure business, which is what I'm on track to do this year. And so as I'm working towards that and I hire people, I'm realizing I'm hiring people, but these people are needing me all the time, right? These are not, I don't have a middle manager to put a buffer between me and my employees so that they can come to the manager and the manager comes to me. That way I have one person reporting to me as opposed to 7 people constantly needing Katrina, Coach Katrina, Coach Katrina. So I just felt like we were doing so much work. We were working on these launches and we were in different launch cycles and working on all these projects and on my online academy and all of these things going on, not to mention the speaking engagements and the networking events and the social engagements and the on and on and on and all of the operations of business, right? So it's starting to feel that solopreneur feel again, even though I had a team. So I scaled down a little bit on my team for different reasons, right? It just had to be some staffing changes to be made. And in doing that, I was kind of like revamping some things in my business, restructuring some things. And I decided as we were making those different changes, one of the things that suited me, and this is something you can think about creating for yourself, but I always wanted to work a 3-day work week. But now I couldn't go into a 3-day work week initially. But I could scale down to a 4-day work week, which is what I did. But also to add to that flexibility for myself and my team, we moved to a somewhat different model. So instead of us working, so we would work. So every quarter, basically, to make this story short, I decided to incorporate quarterly quiet weeks on top of our 4-day work week. And we integrated this all at the same time. We did it for a little while, for a quarter at a time, just to trial size it, right? To see how that would work for us. And then when we decided this is really working well, we went ahead and put it into place for, until this is now my business. So now I work a 4-day work week and my team and I get work, quarterly. Every quarter we have quiet quarterly work weeks. Doesn't mean we're not doing work, but we're shut down to the public for business and we're not taking on any client facing activities during that time. This way it gives us back some time to play catch up and work on things that are important to us and professional and personal development in addition to the work we have to do for the business. And so that has really worked out well for me. Now, that's not something that you may be able to do right now, but I've been in business for 9 years. So I had to do something to change that was going to be an improvement for me and my staff, that, we could feel like a reward system was in place. And that was the reward system that I needed. I needed to create more of a spacious calendar. So I started to remove some of the things off my plate, right? I started to delegate more and outsource more, or just eliminate things altogether. So those are things you might be considering or should consider for yourself as you're thinking about how to move towards flexibility and freedom for yourself. Okay. So that's another thing. And so I think I hit on a little bit of every type of, maybe not all, right? I can't cover everybody's situation, but I try to touch on, or make my best effort to touch on, a little bit of each type of person, again, that I interact with on a day-to-day basis, the people that I encounter. And so I hope you found this really helpful, right? Because these are like some of them are hypothetical examples, but I also introduced to you some real life examples that you might consider for yourself. And you would have to figure out how it would work for you, or if it would work for you at all. But I definitely can help you create a customized plan if you're stuck somewhere and you need help with any of what I talked about today to create freedom in your day, especially if you're feeling stuck in a rut and you're just like, how can I get past this? Like, I want to make a slight pivot, but I'm not exactly sure what pivot to make, or what I need to actually do, or what steps I need to take, or how I can make this really work for me, right? To really feel freer in my business. Because right now I feel like I just have another job and I'm just busier than I've ever been before. And that could be true. You can actually take on business ownership and create a bigger job and a busier job and a more time-consuming job than you did when you were working in corporate America. Or if you're still working in corporate America, you're working 2 full-time jobs, right? And that's no way to be. So I would like to help you, get to wherever it is you need to, how to like carve out some space for yourself, how to create a different, day-to-day activities, like what needs to be removed off your plate, perhaps delegate it to someone else, what we need to automate in your business, or whatever we need to do. But I do help you to create a customized plan. I don't do this all the time, but I am offering this now, and I don't know how long it will last, because I don't know how long I'll have the capacity to do this as we move into Q2. Okay, so take advantage of it now while you can. I'm doing these one-off consulting and coaching calls where I'm helping you to build out a plan that you can implement execute on right away, okay, as soon as we're done with the call. So if you need further support beyond this live stream, then definitely do check out the link below, click it, find some time on my schedule to get on my calendar and get booked, okay? I do have limited availability, and like I said, I don't know how long I'll actually be doing this. So that's one way I can help you. And then, of course, I have lots of free resources here on YouTube with my content, and I have other resources that you can check out in the description box below. But I'll be sure to pin the link in the comment that, to book a call with me and any other resources I can think of that would be beneficial to you right now based on this live stream. Okay, so again, I hope this has been valuable for you. And if it has, let me know definitely what was the most valuable, what was your biggest takeaway, and make sure you come back. Okay, we have another week together. About 7 or 8 more days. Counting, let's see, 7 days next week. So no, 6 days, 6 more business days, because I only do this Monday through Friday. So we only have that much more time together. On Monday the 31st, Monday the 24th. So next week, I'm going to make some new announcements, and I'll share that with you then. And then I'll kind of wrap things up on the 31st, the following Monday, and let you know what's next, so you can know what to expect, okay? So thank you so much for rocking with me. I appreciate you. I love my community. You guys are the best. And if there's anything else I can do to help you out, or any other specific content that you'd like for me to create that would be helpful to you right now, let me know so I can meet you where you are in the journey. Otherwise, I have lots of things for you here already. So go ahead and check those things out and follow up with me and book a call if you need to. So that's my time running a little bit over, but I'm going to tune out while you tune in. Be sure to share this video out with at least 3 friends. As always, and until next time, I am wholeheartedly in this journey with you. Bye for now.